tell us more about yourself and your journey.
Thank you so much. It's absolutely an honor to be invited and to have this conversation with you today. So my name is Liselot. I'm based out of Belgium, and I've been working at PSA BDP for almost 5 years now. PSA is the largest terminal operator in the world. And within the company, I'm responsible to grow contract logistics with a focus on the battery industry. So it's absolutely my passion. I graduated from business school for economics, and afterwards I also did law school. But when I was doing law school, I really found out that I miss numbers, I miss Excel, missing business cases. And so in my current role, there is really a big playground for me to discover different sets of the industry, logistics, but also more, and a lot of entrepreneurship as well to really set up new business units. So yeah, I'm very passionate about my job, and I'm very glad that we can share that today.
Wow, I'm actually so amazed by how awesome your journey has been and your passion for the sector. It really is very inspiring. And you got congratulations firstly on the title. You got recognized as the Flows Logistics Rookie of the Year 2022. And I would love to know more about the tag, the recognition, and what it meant to you personally as well as professionally.
Okay, yeah, that's a very interesting question. So the Flows Rookie Award, it's been a while. I think it's been 3 years
Yeah.
since I got that award. So it was really at the very beginning of my journey in the logistics industry for the electric vehicles. But
Mhm.
so the Flows is actually a magazine in Belgium that gathers a lot of industry knowledge on logistics, but that also doing a lot of networking events to bring people together. And there was a competition, to win that award. And as you know, the definition of a rookie, is like an upcoming star in the industry. So it was quite a stressful time because we all had to make like a kind of essay to describe the journey we've been through. And then there was also a presentation and like a competition. For me, it was absolutely a confirmation, of the fact that I was doing the right thing and that people really appreciated what I was doing, even at a young age. So it really gave me a lot of self-confidence, and I learned a lot about it because afterwards people reached out to me to understand more about the topic of logistics for EV batteries. And finally, I felt, that I really have an added value. And even as a young person, you can really make an impact, and age really doesn't matter. It's the results and the journey that you build together with the people around you. So yeah, that was really fun.
Wow, that actually is so cool. And the fact that what you are doing is actually very new and something that's not very known to people. So just like everyone who approached you to know more, please tell our audience as well what exactly is logistics in your electric battery sector.
Yeah, very good. So in Europe, electric cars, it's only the very beginning. A lot of electric cars are being exported from China into Europe. But besides that, our European car manufacturers are also making the transition towards electric vehicles. But of course, that comes with like a new supply chain because with electric cars, often there are less spare parts. But then really the major cost of an electric car is the battery itself. It's 40% of the overall cost. And probably you've seen these crazy videos of Tesla cars that started to burn for at least 2 days, and then they dump it in a swimming pool, but you don't see much. It starts to flame. So that's why within PSA we had the vision, to really look for solutions on what role we can play and to design that supply chain for the everything linked to the battery industry. And so on the one hand, we are focusing on supporting European battery manufacturers to import raw materials from China, for example, to bring it just in time to their factory to bring back the batteries that they produce there and then bring it finally to the core assembly. And on the other hand, we are learning a lot from Chinese battery manufacturers, and they are actually closing contracts then with European car manufacturers, and then it's just import of these batteries and then final assembly. And so in Dunkirk, in the northern part of France, we started our first project. So it's a warehouse of 22,000 square meters. It's fully racked and it's full with beautiful batteries. So I'm very proud of it because in the beginning, you know, there was no facility, there was no vision or strategy to go into the EV logistics. And then together with my manager and the team I'm working in, we actually set it up together. So that was absolutely great to see it evolving, and we've been extremely successful, I must say.
True. Wow, like I am actually so mesmerized by what you just said. Firstly, EV cars in itself is a very niche sector. It is unexplored yet, and at the same time, it's super interesting. And I feel that this is one of those episodes which is going to excite more of my male friends and colleagues who are going to be like, oh, wow, that's, she's talking about cars and the supply chain of it. So, talking about the supply chain of the like electric vehicles, you have also won an award for that on that presentation. What exactly made you so interested into this side of the logistics? Like, it's really so different than what I think most of the people have spoken to deal with. So please tell
Mhm.
us.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I really like to set up new things, you know, to start
Uh-huh.
from like a white paper and to just
Okay.
come up with ideas and bring these ideas into realization. And so I also have a passion for sustainability, as most people within our
Wow. Yes.
generation. It's really something
Mhm.
that we should focus on. And you know, like a lot of people, they like the sound of a car and they like the smell of fuel. But honestly, for me, I just want to go into a car that drives itself and that is super
Yeah.
comfortable. And my Spotify is already popping up when I'm entering the car. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, when I was traveling to China, I took a lot of taxis, and there I got to sit in electric cars, and I really like it because there's no noise at all. And then, as it's a completely new industry, you can quickly position yourself as an expert into that field. Because, in fact, there is not a lot of knowledge, or at least 4 years ago, it wasn't when I went into the industry.
Uh-huh.
And so I also complemented my knowledge by following a battery MBA. That's a program, 3 months
Oh,
program that is organized by Battery Associates, and it really gathers people that are interested in the battery industry from all over the world. So really from Asia to Africa to
uh-huh.
Europe, North America, every
Indeed.
continent was represented there. And together we worked on a case study, and we
Uh-huh.
actually focused on how we can create like a win-win situation between China and Europe on
Uh-huh.
bringing in more EV technology into Europe, and to make
Yeah.
sure that also our European automotive industry can benefit from it and we can keep the jobs. So I think technology is always a very good thing to
Yeah.
support. Same for
True.
sustainability. And yeah, personally, I like more electric vehicles than these traditional cars where you're busy with the gearbox. Nothing for me.
Yeah, true. And like it is so exciting. As you said, like there isn't much when you got into the sector. So now if I ask you, please provide a roadmap for someone who wants to do just what you're doing, how exactly would you guide us?
Mhm. So I think it's important to find first a company that really aligns with your objectives. So for me, one of my objectives was to be like an entrepreneur within a big company where you have
Uh-huh.
the funding and where you also have, you know, the chance to succeed, but maybe failure is also not dramatic, you know. And I think
True.
that working in a really big company, you also have a lot of people around you, and together you can really make the things work. So I think we need to make a good combination between the people you meet in life and like what you can create together. And so within PSA, as we are a large company, there are worldwide close to 60,000 employees. That was really good because I just started there as a business analyst, in fact, and then by just talking to a lot of people and going beyond my scope of work that was defined in my job description, I heard a lot. I understood where the company wanted to go, and then we pitched together with another colleague the idea of going into the electric vehicle industry. So it was not a job that I applied for from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It was really a job that we created ourselves. And I think there are plenty of opportunities like that in big companies. You just need to surround yourself with the right people that can bring you to a higher level, because all of that was also super new to me. And if you would tell me 5 years ago that my life
Yeah.
would look like this, I would never believe you. So it's been better than expected.
Wow, definitely. And to be honest, that sounds like a great, great company as well to be working with. The fact that they gave you the opportunity to explore so much and come up with an actual new position that you could work on, which excited you so much. And it sounds great to be very honest. And the way you said that you transitioned from being a business analyst to being in your current solution design manager role, how did that transition feel for you? And what lessons are you going to provide us that you have learned from that transition?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to take it one step at a time, you know.
Mhm.
It would I really grow into the solutions design role as I am today quite naturally, because
Wow.
I got the chance to do for the very first time, like to lay out a full warehouse, to come up with the end-to-end logistic solution for the customer. And in the beginning, I just learned to do it like in small pieces, and I really surrounded myself with colleagues that had internally the knowledge, but also with like external consultants. We hire them, and then
Yeah.
I wanted to understand everything. So if you're eager to learn, there is so much
Yeah.
that you can absorb. And
Yeah.
also, like on the internet, there is so much knowledge
Much
available.
information.
So as long as you have a goal to what you want to work, it's so much easier to
Yeah.
achieve these career objectives than, yeah, if you just go to work without a plan. So my advice would
True.
definitely be, think what you want to do. Do not only focus like on day-to-day jobs, but really take like 10 steps back and think, okay, but what role do I want to be in? Like, are there any colleagues that are more senior to yourself that do a job that you really look up to? And then, yeah, talk to them, try to understand what is going on in their mind, how they actually do their job. And don't be stressed, because you can learn, you can fail, and in the end there will be a lot of successes. Because for us that was really a bold move to be as a terminal operator, to go into contract logistics in a completely new industry. Some
Yeah.
people, they didn't believe that we succeeded, but just take it one step at a time, and you will get there, as long as you're passionate and driven about it.
Wow. That actually sounds great and like super awesome advice that if you actually like what you're doing, if you're eager to learn, you'll be able to grasp it also better. And the fact that you mentioned the importance of your colleagues and the people who are around you does make a lot of difference. And I have read it in your one of your posts that you have mentioned that a career coach plays a very pivotal role during such breakout years. So, how did your partnership shape your growth and confidence in such challenging projects that you have dealt with?
Yeah, I think when I was studying, it was a complete different environment than I was working. And so at university, you surround yourself by people that look very similar to you, and that think in a similar way. Like for me personally, I was surrounded by a lot of analytical people. And then when I did my first job in consulting, we had that HBDI profiling, and so it was super clear that I was extremely blue and red. And all my colleagues from consulting, they were also blue and red. But then when I joined PSA, I actually found out that most of their colleagues were different colors. And soon I noticed that sometimes in communication, you know, I understood things that they didn't really meant in that way, or sometimes I communicated in a way that they felt a bit shocked by it, because I was so much focused on my goal and so much focused on my numbers.
Yeah,
And so the career coach, she was like a really eye opener to me, because she really put me together with colleagues that sometimes things went a
yeah,
bit more difficult with, and she
yeah.
was able to really put myself in the shoes of the other person. And I remember a mistake that I made many times was I just assumed things. You know, when people did something, I assumed that they did it for the right reasons. for a certain reason. But she told me, think about the blue pot of Nivea, like the cream.
Yeah.
And so in Dutch, if you have all these letters together, it actually says like the niet invullen voor een ander. Yeah, it's a Dutch expression. That means that you should not assume for someone else. You just ask them,
Yeah.
and then communication will be much easier. So I learned that communication can be very different. Also when working with Chinese people,
Yeah.
I really like them a lot, but in the beginning we had to adapt, and now I even
Yeah.
received a compliment from a Chinese lady recently. She was like, your working ethic, it's really like a Chinese person. And then I was like, yes,
Yeah.
this is an
Yeah.
accomplishment, so we really need to adapt ourselves, and often it's good to have like an external perspective, and to talk to
True.
someone, because in the end everyone wants to like reach the same goal. It's just a matter of
True.
like different in culture and
Communicating.
communication. Yeah.
Yeah. And that sounds awesome. The fact that you are so vocal about how you are so analytical and how you had to transition into being a little less analytical and trying to understand the other aspects clearly does help to understand how things work in the real world, like when we
Mhm.
talk about thesis and stuff like that for university level, we're like, okay, I need to know this by numbers, I need to know how to present the case and stuff. But when it comes to real world, you're like, okay, oops, now I need to change the way that I function in order to fit there. And
Yeah.
exactly, and like talking about how you value sustainability so much, how exactly do you think we have evolved in such the span of time that you have worked for so many years? How does it feel? That has it been a lot of progress, and what are the sectors that we can actually work in to make even more progress?
So honestly, I think that like regulation from the European Commission is really what is putting the energy transition into place. Because I think 5 years ago, a lot of companies they announced like, I want to reduce my CO2 emissions by at least 50%. I want to be carbon neutral by 2030. But in essence, you see that if if there are really like sincere obligations from the European Commission,
Yeah,
like to car manufacturers to launch at least so much percent of your fleet as electrical, then you really see the change. Because in the end, like it's also with the e-trucks, for example, customers,
yeah.
they always like to see that on quotations, how much an
Mm-hmm.
e-truck would cost. But in the end, it's much more expensive than a normal truck. So then they say, no,
True.
it's fine. We can
No.
go for the truck. So I think that, and also when you look, for example, in countries like China and Norway, where they have a lot of electric cars, that was really because of government subsidies and incentives that were given. So for me, we really need to reach the point, where it's not more expensive to do
Yeah.
and to act like in a sustainable way. And I think especially now in China, there is a lot of overcapacity of battery production. So that means that, and that's also what we see in the market, that prices
Yeah.
are really decreasing. So soon an electric car won't be that much more
Good
expensive than
change.
a
Yeah.
normal car. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think that's such a important change that will be taking place because like no matter how much we want sustainability to come into picture, we can't ignore the fact that at an individual level it can be expensive for us to be dealing with it. But as you said, if the prices do come down, people, I don't think if they have a choice where both the normal cars and the electric cars cost the same, that they would have any issue in picking the electric one. They'll be like,
Mhm.
oh, sure, if one act of picking the electric one is helping the environment, why not? Unless it's not costing me more.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's in the era of recession, inflammation, everything coming at one time on all of us, it becomes hard to look at the bigger picture when you're just like, oh my God, I just need to get my life on track right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like 4 years ago, it was only like early adopters, as we call them, and that we're really driving with the electric cars.
Yeah.
And now we
Mhm.
see that we go more
Main.
into like the next stage where the mass
Yeah,
market is interested. And that's also a fun thing to see, because in the beginning there were only like super expensive large family cars available in an electric way, while today, for example, Volkswagen, they will soon launch like the ID.1, which is a really small car. ID.3 is already commonly being used in Europe. So we are really heading there towards having more like affordable smaller EV cars that are really suitable for like the most people. So I really like that tendency, and also feel that people of our generation, that they pay more value to that, that they bring
definitely.
all of these incentives and things to reduce like on plastic. And so yeah, I really like that.
I think so. That's actually the perfect way of saying that we are going towards an amazing sustainable earth soon. And I think we are going to be there much sooner than we think we are, if we get the support, of course.
Yeah, no, that's true, and I think it's also a great tendency now at lots of large companies. They have sustainability experts, and that they really focus on bringing and measuring like scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. So there's definitely a lot more focus on it, not only in the EV industry but also in other industries.
Definitely. And talking about the electric vehicle boom, it's just so amazing, as well as redefining the supply chain complexities. So, what do you think are the challenges as well as the opportunities when it comes to designing the logistics flow for the battery ecosystem?
Yeah, so there are a lot of challenges into play. I think the most important challenge is actually for the safety. So if you store a lot of batteries, it's a lot of value that you store, because the battery itself it's quite expensive. And then yeah, if one battery like goes into thermal runaway, that's what we call it, when it starts to like heat up, then yeah, it's gonna be difficult, you can take it out. But
Yeah,
often you're like too late. So you
true.
really need to come up with a strong set of preventive measures in order to identify like any hazard at an early stage. But
True.
again, due to the technology evolvements, the battery itself becomes also more safe. And we see that there has been a lot of great progress in that field as well. So we really need specialized facilities to store the batteries. It requires a lot of capex investments. It's not like storing any other parts for a car. So that definitely puts a challenge into place. And also the fact that it's like new supply chains. So it's not that it's carved in stone. Like today, there are Chinese suppliers being used, but we also see that European suppliers are focusing on producing the products that you need, like the graphite and a battery management system that goes into these batteries. So normally we like to design, automated warehouses with the AGVs and everything goes automatically, but that's difficult
Yeah.
if dimensions of pallets will still change. And also, as you probably could read in the news, we have the whole story about Northvolt, Britishvolt. They
Yeah.
both, went into like Chapter 11. So it's not necessarily a given, if you start to produce batteries, or you have that goal, that you will be successful and you will have cash enough. So as a logistics player, we also need to focus, on the companies that are going to survive and that are financially strong enough to do so. But so far, I think we really focused on like large battery manufacturers that also have as shareholders the customers. For example,
Yeah.
like Stellantis, they invested in ACC, and then ACC is producing batteries, and of course Stellantis is a customer of them. So that
Yeah.
puts you in a safe position in order to do such investments.
Wow, that actually sounds, to be honest, that was a lot of amazing, cool knowledge that I got today from you. And that definitely sounds amazing. But I do have one more question on following up on what you just said. Like these amazing changes that we are thinking of in the sector in the upcoming years, how are we gonna be able to foster that trust in the people for such new ideas in such environments?
Um, so Can you rephrase your question maybe a bit to make sure that I got
Uh-huh.
it well?
Okay, so the idea, like we are coming up with so many different innovative ways, like as you said, like automated warehouses and different ways of making our life easier. That definitely sounds amazing. But at the same time, it's like it's gonna take trust and support of different communities who are gonna be involved in the whole process. So how do you think is it gonna be possible for us to win that trust when it comes to implementing new ideas into such environments?
Yeah, I think that's a tricky question, because you always have people that want to lead innovation, and then you have people that have more difficulties with change
Sure.
and with technology. Some people
True.
use ChatGPT as their best friends, and others they absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always a mix of both.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, I feel that there is so much potential to have like these dark factories like they have in
Yeah.
China where they don't even put a light on. And I
Uh-huh.
think naturally we will always evolve, towards jobs that
Adapting.
we feel
Mhm.
passionate about. And there will always
True.
be things that are automated and things that
Keeping.
should be done manually. And
Yeah.
also automating often it comes at a high cost as well. So I really feel that, yeah, maybe today it
That's
looks like a big
yeah.
change, but in 5 years, everyone will say, okay, actually, it's much easier. The internet, having a smartphone, all that
Yeah.
little things that is, yeah, completely normal for us today.
True. And talking about the sector, the vehicles as well as logistics, the EV logistics, as you mentioned it. So, in that sector, how important is it to combine the technical expertise with self awareness, like coaching and ensuring that it's not too much analytics or it's not too much random facts? How is it possible to maintain that balance?
Yeah. Yeah, I think in the end of the day, we're all humans and we all like to have the personal connection. So if
Yeah.
you're with a customer and you're pitching a solution to them, your solution can be extremely amazing. But if you really meet your customer, like yeah, they really want and how they really feel about it. Some customers they share everything. Others they keep very quiet and then they just say thank you. So I think it's really important to have also these personal skills to really read the person in front of you to adapt. And I think that's also why our job is so interesting because it's not like a
Yeah.
one size fits all. And we always tweak things to the people in front of us. And I think it would also be a bit boring, if it would just
Yeah.
been focused on like only technical stuff. I really
True.
like combination. And it's a
That's so
people
true.
business in the end, like
Yeah.
logistics industry. So
True. And also, you are a lawyer, you studied law. So I think that aspect where you want to put forward specific arguments and get the return answers also adds to the excited side of your career, I feel. Yeah.
yeah, indeed. Yeah, I thought first, like, why only business economics? I will be
Exactly.
in a room,
Lawyer.
Excel files all day, all night. But then with law, I thought, okay, then I have the ability to really speak to people and to defend them. But yeah, then I found out that it's also a lot of writing and going to the court and waiting, etc. So yeah,
Yeah.
but it's good to have the background because often you need to make a balance, between what
True.
to do in order to protect your company
Yeah.
and then and the other way being a bit commercial and see how to close a deal.
And I also think that your degree does give you a lot of power, like a lot of weight when it comes to talking. Like when you say, "Yeah, I have a law degree," people are gonna take you more seriously. They're like, "Yeah, she definitely has some really good points to put forward now."
Yeah,
And she
it's
has
true.
her
It's the
facts
other way
checked.
of thinking. Very fact
Yeah,
based. Bam, bam, bam.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the most amazing things that I felt about your career is the transitions that you've made, like economics, law, getting back into a different EV logistics sector. It's amazing and inspiring. It's like, I think one thing I could learn is like definitely give it a try. Like once you take it, only then you'll be able to understand if you actually like it or not. And that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We should not feel restricted, you know. You just
Mhm.
see what lives bring you. If you see opportunities, you seize the opportunity, you jump on the train, you surround yourself with the right people, and you go towards your goal.
Yay! Definitely gonna follow that. And talking about that, what exact in talking about your awesome journey, what traits were super involved in ensuring that you didn't have a burnout when you followed this amazing track of life?
Yeah, I think it's my family and my friends that allowed me
Oh,
to keep like a good balance
yeah.
between work and private life. But I must admit that sometimes I'm so passionate that it doesn't really feel like I'm working. And then yeah, sometimes it's difficult, you know, to maintain
Yeah.
that balance. So I think that's also something that we go through as young people, you know. It's really a learning curve, and in the beginning sometimes you go a bit too far
Yeah.
in focused on the job, but then afterwards you realize, okay, there is more in life than and just working.
Just
And
job. Yeah.
yeah, and so for me, for example, in October, I will go to Peru and Bolivia like for a full month. I will take a break from work. So I think that
Mhm.
will allow me to definitely recharge my batteries and to come
Yeah.
back, you know, with even more ideas
And work
on how
with
to.
batteries.
Yeah,
You're
true.
gonna recharge your own batteries to work with batteries. I was waiting to make that joke.
Yes.
And as a woman, as a girl, just entering the logistics sector, the one thing I have heard a lot is that it's a male-dominated sector and that it gets difficult to survive here. So, what has your experience been so far, and what advice would you give a 22-year-old girl, me, who's about to enter the sector, and I should just remember it so that I can survive the sector without a burnout?
Very good. I think that will be very critical to really have like a good piece of advice that you can always
Uh-huh.
follow. So I will try to do my best, but you should ask the question to many people.
Believe
And
me, if you have more than one piece of advice, we are free to take it. Give as much advice as you can.
yeah, I think the most important thing is to always believe in yourself, even though people are pushing you a bit to the side or even, yeah, jump in front of you. Like, always believe in yourself and act even more self-confident than who you might feel at that particular time. But if you're there, if you're passionate, if you know what you're talking about, there is literally nothing or nobody in the room that would ever like question that. And even if they question it, maybe that's their opinion, but
Yeah.
self-confidence is everything. And when I was at university, I didn't have much self-confidence, honestly. There were so many students, you know, at the university. I just felt one of
Yeah.
them. I didn't feel proud. I didn't think that I would win like a rookie award for the logistics industry at
Wow.
all. But just, you know, by focusing on what you like, do it with
Mhm.
passion, surround yourself with nice people, and then yeah, things will grow naturally. And just yeah, keep believing in yourself, even though people sometimes yeah do
Wow.
things
That's so
you don't really
kind.
like.
Yeah. That actually sounds like an awesome piece of advice. And as I said, the way your journey has been, law, economics, EV, logistics, it's amazing. And making that transition is hard. And the fact that you made it so beautifully and are at such an amazing level and a company shows that believing in yourself can make a lot of difference in your journey of life and career.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
and today, I think me and our audience is definitely going to learn so much new things because I personally didn't know that there was a EV logistics specifically in the sector, and the amount of amazing things that you just mentioned today about the sector sustainability, that sounded super awesome and cool. And I think for our generation the word cool matters way more than anything. So the fact that it is so amazing and cool is gonna be exciting a lot of us towards the sector as well. Like the fact that now I know there is a sector, I'll even consider it. But
Yeah.
making us aware about it is a very big thank you. And you get a lot of credit for making us aware of how awesome the sector is. And we should give it a try. So
Yeah,
thank you
thank
for
you.
Yeah, tell me.
Thank you so much, for organizing this. And I think by the fact that you organize these podcasts about ladies, leadership, and logistics, that really shows who you truly are and like the passion you have to further develop yourself. So I don't think you need much of advice. You're already on the
I
right path.
do.
You just continue.
That's very kind of you, Lizelot. But at the same time, I genuinely need a lot of advice. I personally feel that the best learning lesson comes when you talk face to face with someone who's been there, done that. And it's like when you say that, it's normal to feel a little left out or a little confused. And then I think I get that confirmation bias that, okay, if she saying it, she's been there and she's a lawyer.
True.
So that's gonna make a lot of difference for me. And I clearly learned so much today about EVs that so my uncle owns a Tesla and I love sitting in it and I love like being in the Tesla. I can flaunt it and stuff. But knowing that technically the EV logistics is a totally different sector and it can open so many opportunities for all of us is something I learned from you today. So thank you. I hope that just like me, each and every person listening is very firstly they did learn a lot from you, and at the same time we see that we all can also consider this as an amazing sector to associate ourselves with. So thank you for giving us your time and amazing tips today.
Thank you so much. And I can only end with saying that if you are interested to enter into the field, I'm always happy, to see what the opportunities are, not only with PSA, but also with other companies and other connections I have
Love
in the sector.
that. I would love to give it a try. Thank you so much. And I'm definitely sure that our audience, whoever saw it, is going to send you connection requests going like, can you please help us enter the sector?
Very good.
Great.
Perfect. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.